Hey guys, it's your boy Valdo, and I wanted to show you guys what I've been working on, which you already know is Cold Snap. And basically, I'll just show you the links and we'll get into the map. Cold Snap, Hypothermia, Controlled Destruction, Efficacy, Swift Affliction, and Ellie Focus. Or well, more importantly, it's Spell Cascade, Ellie Focus for single target. Um, okay, oops. Old map, new map. So yeah, the build's pretty fun. It clears pretty nice. You'll see here in this underground river. Yeah, funny enough, like you don't even have to cast this much. If you just wait a moment and just run past the mobs, they just die. Aw, shit. As you can see, these guys aren't a big deal. You just have to lay your frost bomb down. What am I, 88 now? 87. Oh shit, they got me with the temp chains. See if we can get to Merville. Show you that. And then we can head back to town and talk about the build. Yep, there it is. Okay, so when we go to single target, and you don't really have to do this, seriously, you don't have to do this. You can switch to Ellie focus and turn. Oh shit, there's a. I'm actually gonna wait for her to teleport. Here we go. Fun, fun times. Yeah. So yeah, I mean the single target's really good if the enemy doesn't just run away from you, which is kind of annoying for Mirabelle because Val Cold Snap casted an AoE around you. But here, let's just go back to town. I'm just picking shit up now. All right, so oops. Basically, we have, like I showed you the links, and then we have Frostbite, Spell Cascade, Frost Bomb, and Arcane Surge. So that's what this is all about. This does a shit ton of reduction for their resistances to cold. It's pretty solid, 25%. So Frostbomb is a must on cold builds. You probably know that if you've ever played a cold build. Then we've got Orb of Storms, Curse on Hit, Crit Strikes, and Ellie Weakness. This is what this is for. And so Ellie Weakness is pretty strong for this build. It does exactly what it sounds like. It just further reduces their resistances. Because if you guys didn't know, on hit damage, benefits from cold penetration. But damage over time can only benefit from reductions to their resistances. So, yeah. And then we have Fortify, Shield Charge, Hail Device. So nothing crazy there. And this is just swap out gems and shit. So the gear is basic. The only required thing is Wind Shriek, Heretic's Veil for quality of life, um, and then these two here are just chance to freeze. We'll talk about freeze really quick. Freeze is quite powerful with this build. I stopped freezing bosses because they don't get freeze that well, but it actually does help. Like, I'll be fair. I just wanted to show the damage, the raw LE focus damage. But if you just stick with the freezes and you hit them with the spell cascade where the AoEs overlap, it's quite nice. It's pretty solid. Almost don't have to switch, like I said. We just use these two for obvious reasons. This is good for on-hit damage and chance to freeze. This is great for chance to freeze and its duration on enemies. Um, yeah, why not? Honestly, and then when you're clearing when you freeze enemies, you actually get a little bit more damage for clearing. So, yeah, definitely good. Passive tree. Life, a frenzy charge that makes me feel good about myself. Some AoE, cold damage and chance to freeze. Really nothing crazy. Some curse here. Now, just to talk about some potential changes, and you know what? To talk about those changes, we're actually going to go straight to Path of Building. One sec. So with Path of Building, the main difference, and I'll just match this up correctly. So yeah, with Path of Building, the main difference is we'll just take that off for to match it accurately. So essentially, with Path of Building, our damage is quite decent. It's already buffed up here. So let me go ahead and show you guys. It's 161k damage over time whenever you are using basic cold snap damage over time on the ground, and 137 damage for your DPS, like your on hit DPS. So essentially, if you put those together, that's obviously like around like what 2900 3k DPS essentially. So with 3k DPS or 300k DPS, with 300k DPS, that's quite decent. That does not actually involve our Val Cold Snap, which is going on at the same time, which is another 242,000 DPS. And this is regular bosses, or this is not even Shaper DPS, honestly. So it's actually not that great. About half. So, but it's damage over time. Just a heads up. But and I'll be fair, I was only using this build to kind of clear the Atlas. Single target, I'm probably going to go with Occultist. Occultist is quite a bit better when it comes to that, just because she has the power charges, which she can generate with Curse, with power charge on crit, and with her spending mana to gain the power charge, which is pretty good when you have a lot of on-hit damage as well. So it allows her to go to bosses without having to use Val Cold Snap, although she will still use it likely. So that's just one small distinction. But the damage is pretty decent for the build. I really haven't had any issues. I melt bosses like it's nothing. I just haven't tried any shapers or anything or guardian because I haven't been there yet. But you know, besides that, it's been pretty fun. I mean, the only thing I would probably change, or let me take that off. The only thing I would probably change, is if it were me and I wanted to do bosses, like I said, I would go with occultist, drop the wind shriek, which they're not, I don't even, are they on here? Yeah, they are. Drop the Wind Shriek, go back to Omeokon, which is the boots that give you onslaught based on your, just give you onslaught for free and gives you dodge. Just because there's such a massive damage increase for the build. I actually have a pair. It just kind of fucks up your curses, so like it's weird. You just to emulate, or you know what? I'll just show you guys the whole thing. Switch to Witch. Switch to Occultist. Grab these two. Did it take them off? No. Grab those two. Whatever. And then we will. Fuck it. Just get that. And I think there's a couple of things linked to this. No, we're good. Yeah, and then we would take the onslaught from a Mayocon. Oh, it's already on there. So yeah, I mean the damage is not that big of a difference, and this isn't even a full change because right here it's showing that it's lower, but I'm confident that it's more consistent with the cold snap, cold winter I think it's called, that gives you power charges instead of frenzy charges from the skills. And probably going full crit, I don't know. It's an option. I just don't like critting like that. But just get, I guess the point here is that there is an option for occultist and there's an option for trickster. I went with Trickster because Trickster has a lot of quality of life, a lot of cast speed. It just feels clean. Shield charging is nice. All that stuff is quite grand. Um, and the last thing I wanted to show you guys, which I probably should have shown a little bit earlier in the video, is is the AOE and how that kind of affects your clear speed. So, and I'm just gonna straight up take you guys to the best place on earth. Okay, so and the only reason we're here is just to show you kind of the preference here that you may have. So with basic cold snap, the AoE is pretty decent with AoE nodes, but it's nothing crazy, right? If we take increased area of effect, it now becomes something like this, which is pretty good. You'd be surprised how much of a difference Ink AoE makes when it comes to like clearing mobs who run at you, because if you cast it up here, it'll close the distance to you, and when you have your frostbite aura on, they'll die as they approach you essentially. And as well as off screening and whatnot, it's pretty decent, but it's not as good as Spell Cascade when it comes to off screening. But just to show you, you can kind of visualize this. I cast it here. That's my AoE, right? Let's go and switch to Spell Cascade. It's about the same size, if not a little bit thinner, but a slightly longer. So a lot of times what happens is like you can just cast it in the corner of the screen, and it's pretty good for reaching further. And the only other benefit Spell Cascade gets is the potential overlap for the on-hit portion of the attack, not for the Icy Ground. But it does give you a little more longer Icy Ground. Enemies approach you in a straight line. They don't approach you from like that. Spell Cascade is a little bit more, makes a little bit more sense when it comes to the area that they would approach you in. That's it though. And then if you wanted to just run Ellie Focus like I showed you initially, is exactly what it was. You just want to run Ellie Focus, no AoE modifier, it's just that. And so it's not really bad. So yeah, it's just you're not getting shatters. And so it doesn't look as cool. But this is probably how the skill was meant to be played. So yeah. Pretty fancy. If only every map was like this, right? So yeah, that's the idea. It's been fun, guys. If you guys have any questions about this build, please let me know. Give me a bit of a review or how you feel about it, and I'll see you guys later.